Hello everybody, it's Ian here from SimBuild UK. Now for something just a little bit different. If you already follow my channel, you'll know that I'm currently building a 737 simulator. But since the release of Flight Sim 2020, I've really enjoyed just taking prop planes around and exploring. And that gave me the idea of maybe doing a few flights to some landmarks and stuff like that, and talking a little bit about them. And I thought, what better place to start than my home county and home region, which is East Anglia in the UK, more specifically Norfolk and Suffolk. East Anglia, of course, stretching a little bit into Cambridgeshire and Essex. But we're now here at my home airport, which is Beccles. That's Echo Golf Sierra Mike is the airport code. It's only a small airport, but I thought we'd start here and we're going to finish at Norwich International Airport. Beccles, of course, being in Suffolk, and this is where I grew up as a kid and a teenager. We moved up here from Ipswich. My dad was in the police force, so we had to sort of live wherever he was posted, and he was my early days I was around the Ipswich area, and then he was posted up to Beccles, so we moved up here, and that's where my parents still live. They still live in Beccles, along with my brother. He lives in Beccles too, and I now live in Harleston, which is about 15 minutes away from Beccles. So with regards to the flying, I'm not going to be doing any specific procedures. We're just going to jump in the plane and go for a little tour. So we'll pretend we've done the pre-flight. Tail, wings, engine, wheels. Yeah, we're good. What I will do before we fly is just show you my settings, because I know I'll probably get asked. So this is what graphic settings I'm running. Everything is pretty much on ultra. I've got the level of detail up to 200, objects level up to 200, and everything else is as high as it'll go. We are using live weather today. Hopefully that won't be a problem. We'll try and stay clear of the cloud, but if it does get too cloudy, then we'll just have to set it to clear skies just for the purpose of this video. There's no point doing a VFR flight if we spend most of it in cloud. So we'll get it fired up. I'm using the Honeycomb yoke, so I've got the switches in front of me. So we'll turn the power on, put some nav lights on and beacon on. Mixture to rich. Fuel is on. Let's fire up. Okay, avionics on. The flight plan I've actually got running on my iPad with ForeFlight. It's just a rough plan. I'm not going to be sticking to it, but it's just going to guide me to the areas that I want to show you. The wind today is favouring a 27 takeoff to the west. So Beccles Airport here is not particularly well done, but you can't expect it to be really. It's a tiny little airport. So we'll taxi out and get on our way. Put some lights on. Taxi lights. You can hear my iPad talking to me there. The this bit of the runway in real life is actually grass just here. It changes from grass to concrete at about this point here. Coming onto the runway, so we put the strobes and landing lights on. Off we go. Rudder's still very sensitive in this sim. Hopefully, I think the cloud base when I checked was about 1800 feet, so I think if we climb up, immediately below us here is Ella Park Raceway, which is a go-karting track, and it did feature in one of the championship rounds of the go-karting. We're going to start a right turn here because Beccles is right in front of us. It's not a very big place. The airfield itself is located at Ella, which is about 3 miles southeast of the town, and the airfield was originally built in 1942 as a wartime airfield, and it was used as a heliport servicing the North Sea, and is just now a base for light aircraft and parachuting. Okay, we're at 1,000 feet, we'll level off and trim to try and stay at about that. So down there is the town of Beccles. The milestones that you see around Beccles show that it's 109 miles from London. And we're about 16 miles southeast of Norwich, with Norwich being known as the hub of East Anglia. There's really not too much to show around Beccles. It's just a small market town, but to me it's home. It's got a population of around 13,000, and you can see here one of the rivers around here, which is the River Waveney, which flows right through Beccles. There is a 13th century church right in the centre of Beccles, although it's not shown in Flight Sim, but hopefully with the new UK update that's coming soon, maybe they'll add churches and stuff in. You can start to see what East Anglia is all about here. It's fields, rural farming. We've gone a bit higher than I intended. We're now coming back over towards Beccles Airfield and heading east. You can see the coast out there, which we will fly along later. You can see all the solar panels and stuff down here, and the one where my mouse cursor is now is where I used to fly model aircraft. That used to be our flying club before it was taken over and used for solar panels. It was actually this one here. So we're going to turn now and fly southwest, and we're going to head towards my current hometown, which which is Harleston. So at the moment we're in Suffolk, and we're now about to cross over the border into Norfolk. It's going to lose a bit of height here, we're getting too much. Just throttle back a bit now as well. So you can see how flat the county is. There's just nothing here. Not the best place for sightseeing, but okay, what we'll do is we'll jump to the approach to Harleston, and I will join you when we get there. Okay, so we are just on the approach to Harleston now. You can see it up in the distance just here. Harleston is in the heart of what's called the Waveney Valley, so it's prone to flooding quite a bit. Just recently we had major floods. One of the days we couldn't even get out of the town because the roads were all underwater. And you can see the continuation of the River Waveney here, which we saw when we were in Beccles. So Harleston is smaller than Beccles. Not a lot there, to be honest. We've got a petrol station, we've got about 5 kebab shops, Chinese, and an extortionate supermarket. If you need to go shopping, we have to go to Beccles because that's the closest place with the Tesco's and Morrison's, etc. But again, as with most of Norfolk and Suffolk, prominently farming. Just a small village just outside Harleston called Wurtwell, or Wuttle as the locals known it. Is where my dad was born and raised, so he's a born and raised Norfolk boy. I do like hearing some of the stories of what he used to get up to. They were quite comical in the days when you could get away with it. Being buffeted around by the wind quite a bit here. Have a quick view of the outside. You can see for miles. So there's Harleston, my hometown. Like I say, really not a lot to show you, but it was en route-ish to where we're going next, so I thought I'd overfly it. This wind turbine here I can see from my house In fact, if I look behind me now, I can see it. Lots of fishing lakes around here, a small village called Weybridge. There's our extortionate supermarket. And this bit here is the industrial estate. Closest airport to here, we've got Tibenham, which is not too far away. It's about 15-minute drive, and we've got Seething near Bungay, and of course Beccles. We've also got Hardwick, which is where one of the Mustangs, P-51 Mustang, is based, flown by Maurice Hammond. You might have seen him on Plane Resurrection if you've ever seen that programme. He was also on the news because he actually sadly had a crash in it, killing his passenger. I'm not going to go into details about it, but if you want to look that up. And his flight path into Hardwick always brought him over my garden, so I used to see the Mustang quite a bit, and I actually saw it 10 minutes before it crashed. Okay, that's it for Harleston. We'll now move on to our next landmark, which is going to take us deeper into Suffolk and out to the coast. So I shall see you when we get there. Just en route to our coastal destination, and another town of interest down here is Framlingham, which is of course home to singer-songwriter Ed Sheeran. Again, small town. I don't actually know where he lives, so I can't point it out. I know he's got a pub in his garden. There's the castle on the hill that he sings about. And Ed's quite often in Harleston where I live, because his wife or girlfriend plays hockey for the town. So he's quite often here supporting her. On to the next. Okay, we're now approaching the east coast, and our next point, which is Sizewell. Sizewell is the home of nuclear power station in the East Anglia region. There's actually two, there's Sizewell A and Sizewell B. Sizewell A was shut down on the 31st of December 2006, but nearly a disaster. On the 7th of January 2007, a contractor working on the decommissioning of the station noticed some water leaking onto the floor of the laundry where he was washing his clothes. The water was tested and found to be cooling water from the pond that holds the reactor's spent nuclear fuel, which had dropped more than a foot without activating any of the alarms. It's estimated that up to 40,000 gallons of radioactive water had leaked from the 15-foot split in the pipe. Just circle around here. Some of the water spilled into the North Sea. without the chance intervention of the contractor, the pond could have drained before the next scheduled plant inspection. If the exposed irradiated fuel had caught fire, it would have resulted in an airborne off-site release of radiation. It's scary stuff. What we'll do is we'll just come around and have a look at it, because I was busy reading and not flying the plane. You can see the North Sea here is pretty rough with the wind today. So here's the power station here, and I've not been here before in the simulator, but it looks like the dome is not modelled. There's a big dome in this part here which you can see from miles around because of how flat the county is. But what I'll do is I'll insert a picture of what it actually looks like. Again, hopefully when Asobo do the UK update at the end of this month, some of this stuff will be modelled. But yeah, it's scary how close we came to a major nuclear issue. So the older part of the power station here is the decommissioned part, which is Sizewell A, and then right next to it is Sizewell B, which is a current power station run by EDF. The actual defueling and removal of the buildings is expected to take until 2034, and then after that they have a care maintenance phase which is going to run from 2034 to 2092, and the demolition of the reactor and the final clearance is planned for 2088 to 2098, so it's a long process. So Sizewell B, the newer power station, is the UK's only commercial pressurised water reactor. And like I say, the dome isn't modelled, but you can see the dome from miles around. I mean, I'm standing on Lowestoft Beach, I could see the dome quite clearly, and Lowestoft Beach is 25 miles north up the coastline from Sizewell. I mean, the dome should be here somewhere, big white dome. I did read somewhere that the dome thickness is about 3 meters. It's obviously covers the reactor. And obviously in real life we wouldn't be able to fly like this. I'm just checking on ForeFlight actually what the restricted airspace is around this. It's ground to 2,000 feet, so oh yeah, we're a couple hundred feet low than what should be, but it really needs the dome though, it really does. I've been here a couple of times when I had my motorbike. We used to ride out here. Some lovely motorbiking roads around the East Anglia. Lots of rural roads, quite scenic routes. Okay, so that's Sizewell A and Sizewell B. They are in the process of trying to put planning through for a Sizewell C. Obviously the residents not too keen on it. I'm partial to it really. I think nuclear power is the future. I know it comes with danger, but in a world where we're trying to be cleaner, think it's the way to go. So we're going to continue north up the coast now, and our next stop will be Dunwich. Okay, we're just arriving at Dunwich now. Really not much to show in the sim. This is how it is in real life. There's not a lot to it. It used to be a very big village, but most of it has been lost to the sea over the years. In the Anglo-Saxon period, Dunwich was the capital of the Kingdom of East Anglia, but the harbour and most of the town have since disappeared due to coastal erosion. At its height, it was an international port similar in size to 14th century London. It started its decline in 1286 when a storm surge hit East Anglian coast, followed by a great storm in 1287 and another great storm in 1287. Most of the buildings that were present in the 13th century have disappeared, including all 8 churches. Dunwich is now a small coastal village, and at certain tides it's said that the church bells can still be heard from beneath the waves, which I find really freaky. I've not experienced it myself. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, or whether that's just myth. But I thought it was a worthy talking point as we were flying past it anyway. Again, another good stop on a motorbiking route around East Anglia. Any of these villages along this coastline really. They've all got stunning beaches. Freezing cold sea, but so we'll now turn north again and fly a little further along the coast, and our next stop will be Southfold. So we're now coming up on Southfold. It's on our left hand side down here. Southfold is actually known as an area of natural beauty, but 49% of the dwellings in the town are used as second homes and holiday lets. It's a really expensive place to live, but the interesting thing is that the shops in Southfold still have half-day closing on Wednesdays, and the brewery, Adnams Brewery, which is based in Southfold, still has a siren to mark workers' tea and lunch breaks. And every day the beer is delivered from Adnams Brewery to the town by horse and cart. And on this green here where my mouse pointer is, just above the beach, is called Gun Hill, and there's 6 18-pounder cannons which commemorate the Battle of Seoul Bay. The battle was fought in 1672 between English and French fleets on one side and Dutch on the other. The battle was bloody but indecisive, and many bodies were washed up ashore. So yeah, there's a lot of interest in history. I've never been interested in history, but it's just, I'm in my mid-30s now, but it's recently that I've started to show an interest in it. And it's nice to be able to, you know, jump on your flight sim and fly around these places. Southfold, the major landmark in Southfold is the Lighthouse. It was commissioned in 1890 and automated and electrified in 1938. It stands as a prominent landmark in the centre of the town and is Grade 2 listed. It's 31 metres or 102 feet tall, and it stands 121 feet above sea level. I'm just going to see if it's in the game or not. Southfold has got a lovely beach, and you can see that there. Just trying to see if the lighthouse is shown down there. No, I can't see it. Again, a bit disappointing. And there's a pier at Southfold, and that, oh, is that it down there? No, that appears to be missing as well. That appears to be missing. So no, unfortunately you can't see the lighthouse. I mean, it's a massive landmark for such a small town. The thing is huge. Again, hopefully when they bring out the update at the end of the month, it might include some of these things. Yeah, the pier's not there as well. There's a pier should be there where that yellow building is. But apart from that, looking at the roads, they're all where they should be. Some regular visitors to Southfold, famous people: Chris Evans, Rowan Atkinson, also known as Mr. Bean, has got a house at Southfold. Michael Palin, Stephen Fry, just a few of the known names that come here quite a bit. So the lighthouse at Southfold, there used to be 3 lighthouses, but they were under serious threat from coastal erosion, and it also suffered a fire just 6 days after its commissioning, but survived. And today it operates a rotating 150 watt lamp with a range of 24 nautical miles. There's some useless info for you. So that was Southfold. Next stop is Britain's most easterly point, which is Lowestoft, or Lowestoft, as we say in Norfolk. As we get up into Norfolk, we'll go through some local Norfolk dialect, if you can understand it. Okay, you can see we're approaching Lowestoft now. This point here is Britain's most easterly point. The actual town of Lowestoft is in this vicinity here. The point is known as Nest Point, and if you remember watching Top Gear, where Clarkson was trying to beat the sunset and sunrise, and he started off on the west coast of United Kingdom and watched the sunset. As soon as it set below the horizon, he jumped in his car and he raced across the UK to Nest Point in Lowestoft to try and beat the sun rising up over the North Sea. And I think he'd done it by about a couple of minutes. I remember watching the episode, and he arrived at Lowestoft at about 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I remember he was running short on time, and he was pushing the car so hard that he was sliding around the roundabouts to try and get to Nest Point as quick as he could. So Lowestoft, some of the earliest evidence of settlement in Britain was found in Lowestoft. The discovery of flint tools in the cliffs at Pakefield in South Lowestoft, which is where we are coming past now. This is South Lowestoft. Discovery of flint tools in the cliffs at Pakefield in South Lowestoft in 2005 means that human habitation of the Lowestoft area can be traced back 700,000 years. Incredible. This is South Lowestoft here, where this bit of beach is. And then you've got the main part of Lowestoft is here, where the built up area is. While we're here at Lowestoft, if we look out to our right, to the east, the next landfall you'd come across would be Holland, which is about 100 nautical miles. And just beyond the coastline is, of course, Schiphol Airport. And this town, Lowestoft, is going to be our last port of call in Suffolk, as just north of Lowestoft we cross the border into Norfolk. This bit of water here is Alton Broad. And some say this is the gateway to the Broads, some say Beccles is the gateway to the Broads. It's there's two Broads in East Anglia, Southern Broads and Northern Broads. Good place to take a boat, and I've only been on the Broads a couple of times, but the most memorable time is when my cousin decided that he was going to buy a boat, and he bought it, and it was moored up way up in North Norfolk, in, I think it was Stalham it was moored. So we drove, he rang me up, he said, "You fancy a boat trip?" So I said, "Yeah, I'm up for that." So he come and picked me up, and we drove up to Stalham. He paid his cash, we jumped on the boat, and we bored it all the way back to Beccles, where we took off from today. And it was a memorable trip, put it that way. I mean, neither of us have got any boating knowledge, and some of the waters that we had to navigate are quite treacherous, especially Braden Water, which we'll be crossing over later, and Great Yarmouth is quite a well-known bit of water around here for its current when the tide's incoming and outgoing. It can be quite a horrendous bit of water. I've actually seen a boat, a day boat, at full throttle going against the tide, and he was still going backwards. This is the port of Lowestoft here, quite a busy port. This is a major fishing area. Trying to get around Lowestoft is a bit of a nightmare because there's only 2 river crossings. They have got a third one planned, but it can be an absolute nightmare trying to get across the bridges, especially when you've got ships coming in and out all day and the bridges go up. The traffic grinds to a halt. Right next to one of the bridges is also a train crossing, so you've got the bridge and the train crossing to contend with when you're trying to get from one side of the town to the other. Not a good place to drive around. Okay, so this town up here is Corton, and just beyond that is where we cross the border from Suffolk into Norfolk. Next call is going to be Great Yarmouth. Okay, we're just approaching Great Yarmouth, and if we look down to our left here, this white building and all this lot here is Potter's Leisure Resort, and if you're into bowls, you'll know that that's where they hold the World Championships, which I believe is happening now as we speak, so the finals are normally on telly. I did dabble in a bit of bowls when I was younger, and I actually played at Potters when I got through to the junior, what was it, Pairs Final or something like that, or Pairs Cup, I can't really remember what it was, but yeah, I've played there. So, town of Great Yarmouth. Is it great? Not really, no. Growing up, when I used to spend a lot of time with my grandparents, we used to have a caravan not far from Yarmouth, and they used to bring me down here quite a lot as a kid. Famous, of course, for its Golden Mile, which is a mile-long seafront area full of arcades, things like that. There's a pleasure beach, like a theme park, and Joyland, which is a kiddies theme park. It's got lovely beaches, and a couple of piers which don't appear to be shown here. There's Wellington Pier, quite famous for having lots of comedians come there, like Jim Davidson, Jimmy Carr, Roy Chubby Brown, people like that. Freddie Starr used to perform here quite a bit. And then we've got the wind farm out here just off the coast, and I can see a couple of terrain spikes there which I thought the Seoul Bay were supposed to have sorted out, but clearly they haven't. This is the River Yare, and I think that's how Yarmouth got its name. It's the River Yare, and it's the mouth of the River Yare, so it's Yarmouth. Oh, I think that might be one of the piers there, but it's not done in great detail, unfortunately. So from here we are now going to turn, yeah, we've got what, 4 terrain spikes there, which obviously shouldn't be there. So this big patch of water here is Breydon Water, which is notorious for being dangerous. There's lots of mud flats, and the currents and the tides are really strong when they're incoming and outgoing. If you get it at slack water, which luckily we did when we had the boat, it was quite nice crossing there, and the good thing about it is there's no speed limit, and the boat we had a V8 in it, so we were able to open her up across this bit of water. This long road here is the Acle Strait, notorious for accidents, even though it's a completely straight road for miles and miles. It's just the idiots that use it, unfortunately. Just have a look here as we fly over. Unfortunately, the pleasure beach, the theme park, doesn't appear to be modelled yet. This bit down here is the Sea Life Centre. I can recognise that bit, and this road here is what's called the Golden Mile, and all this bit here is all arcades, and there's a high tower called the Oasis Tower, which stands high above the town. It's actually a viewing platform that you can go up in, but again, that's not modelled. Bit disappointing, really. Pleasure Beach is here somewhere. Oh, that's where it should be. But again, we can only hope when they do the update. Here's the tidal Riviera. We had a brown trouser moment when we approached one of these bridges. I can't remember which one it was. It would be on this river because we came in to Yarmouth, and then rather than going down there and out to sea, we turned and came across Braden Water. But yeah, brown trouser moment of whether we were going to get under it or not. What we'll do while we're here is see if we can get the weather for Norwich, because that's our next stop. Norwich ATIS 128.63.
Norwich Airport information Yankee 14000. Wind 284 at 73. Visibility niner. Sky conditions.
Did that say?
Clear. Temperature niner.
Sounded like 28. Wind was 284 at 73.
29.97. ILS runway 27 in use. Landing and departing runway 27. DSR aircraft, say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller, on initial contact, you have Yankee.
Let's just hear that wind again.
Norwich Airport information Zulu 14000. Wind 284 at 73. Visibility niner.
It did say 73, didn't it?
Clear. Temperature
Let me just check it on my 4Flight app.
2.13. Altimeter 29.97. ILS runway 27 in use. Landing and departing runway 27.
I need to hear it again.
DSR aircraft, say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller, on initial contact, you have Zulu.
Well,
Norwich Airport
let's just listen
information
to
Zulu
it.
14000. Wind 284 at 73. Visibility.
It definitely did
niner.
say 73, didn't it?
Sky conditions clear.
Well, that's not right. I don't know why it's reporting that wind. 4Flight is saying wind is 300 at 9. So we'll go by what 4Flight says, I think. So yeah, we'll be coming into runway 27 at Norwich. .73, what is she on about? Okay, we'll leave this here and join me again as we're approaching the fine city of Norwich. I thought I'd show you some examples of some Norfolk dialect. I mean, I'm from Norfolk and sometimes I struggle with them. There's so many. There is a ridiculous amount of Norfolk sayings. But here's a few that I found. I'll run you through them. Obviously the red is how we say it and the black is what it actually means. I won't go through all of them, but I'll just give you an example. So the first one, hull, is to throw something. So if we're doing something, you know, what should I do with this bag of rubbish? Hull it over the fence. That's what we'd say. That's right, that is. Means that's correct. Hold you hard is hang on a moment. We actually have them on road signs in Norfolk. If you come up to some traffic lights, it will say, if this here light show red, hold you hard. That just means stop when the light's red. Jip means you're in pain, got a bit of jip. Towel is a towel. Also one that's not on here is a pust, which is a post. So you've got the postman. Putting on your parts means misbehaving. Bishy Barney B is a ladybird. I think so is I think so. Lend us a lug is to listen. I'm now gone means I'm now leaving. A bore is a neighbour or a boy. Doesn't dare not to. Call blast me. I'll be blowed. A twin, say between. So a twin Norfolk and Suffolk is somewhere between Norfolk and Suffolk. Suffin is something. I'm sorry, I went Norfolk on the word I didn't mean to. Then it's Suffin is something. My heart alive. Surprise. Yisty is short for yesterday. I'll ding you over is I'll hit you. A smook, so if you're a smoker, going out for a smook. A hind, so I'm going out for a smook behind the bike sheds. What else we got there? Hold your blaring means to stop crying. Hint, have not. I ain't got the money. Same with didn't is did not. This is a proper Norfolk phrase. Do you keep a trosh and bore? That means look after yourself. Call you do look queer means you're not well. A lummox is a clumsy person. Suffin savage means you're very angry. A rummin means strange, so we say, cool, that's a rummin. You're getting on my wick, or it should be you, Y-E-W, you getting on my wick. Means getting on your nerves. And then beautiful and on the her means not level. So if you put something up on the wall and it's not level, you've put it on the her. So there's just a small example of some Norfolk dialect for you. Okay, here's a few examples of some Norfolk town names. What we like to do in Norfolk is, if the word is too long, we just miss out the middle bit. So non-locals would probably say Costasy for this one, but in Norfolk it's actually Cossey. Here's another one that can be quite a giggle at times if you're a non-local, especially if someone's looking for directions. They'll pull up and they say, can you tell me the way to Happysburg, please? In Norfolk it's pronounced Haysborough. Okay, here's another one a bit like Haysborough. This one, I was actually driving into this village, and the traffic report came on the radio, and what they've done is they've now taken the traffic report away from Norwich and they now do it from London, so London reporters just haven't got a chance of pronouncing these place names. And they were saying on the radio that there was queuing traffic in Tasburg, and I thought, where the hell's Tasburg? And then it dawned on me that they actually meant Taysborough. Here's another classic Norfolk village name. Again, non-locals would say Wymundham. In Norfolk it's pronounced Wyndham. And here's some of the road signs we have in Norfolk. They all mean the same thing, they just mean slow down, but we like to complicate it here. So we've got cool blast, you're going too fast. Watch your speed, me old booty, and slow you down, boy. Okay, so here we are approaching East Anglia's unofficial capital, Norwich. So Norwich has a population of around 200,000. The city is known as the most complete medieval city in the United Kingdom and still features cobble streets, ancient buildings and half-timbered houses. The River Wensum flows through the city centre towards Norwich Castle. It was voted by The Guardian in 2016 as the happiest city in the UK. Bits of the old city walls from 1294 can still be seen, but a lot of it was destroyed by German bombing during World War II. The football team, Norwich City, my team, play at Carrow Road, and the stadium has a capacity of 27,500, and On the Ball City, which is Norwich's anthem, is the oldest song in the Football League. I've actually got, I downloaded an add-on for Norwich that someone made, which gives you much better detail, and you can see we're now passing over Carrow Road, which is down here. Been there many times. Me and my dad used to be a home season ticket holder, and we used to be an away season ticket holder at the same time, so we were always here, whether we were going to home matches or coming here to get on the coaches to go to away matches. So we've been to I would say most of the Premier League and Championship, and even League One when Norwich dropped down to League One. We've been to most of the football stadiums in the UK, been all over the place. I'm just trying to spot Norwich Castle. It's up on a big hill, so it shouldn't be hard to see. And okay, maybe it is hard to see. It may well even be right under us now. I'll have to do a circle round. So Norwich is the home to Coleman's mustard, the little yellow jars of eye-watering goodness. Delia Smith, obviously she is a famous chef and also the majority shareholder at the football club, and also famous for her Let's Be Avenue speech that she did when she was pissed at half time. She came out on the pitch with a microphone, and well, you probably know the rest. I was there that day. It was embarrassing. Home of Alan Partridge, if you've ever seen that. That was all filmed in Norwich. And if you're into Speedway, it's Jason Doyle, ex-world champion Australian rider. He lives in Norwich. Still trying to find the castle. Lots of pubs in Norwich. There was one stage where there was a pub for every day of the week. There's over 365 pubs in Norwich. I don't believe there's that many anymore. I think it's dropped below that now. I'm sure my dad used to say that there was a pub for every day of the week and a church for every week of the year. So there was 52. There's the cathedral. I think that's right. I think that's what he said. Still not been able to spot the castle. It's quite a big landmark to miss out from a major city, I think. If you ever watch Norwich on telly, they'll quite often the cameras will, you can see the castle and the cathedral in the background. Especially at night when it's all lit up. This is the River Wellington. can see the change in colour here from where the default scenery meets the add-on Norwich scenery that I downloaded. I'll just do one more pass, see if we can see the castle. This is Norwich train station here, and this little complex just outside the football ground is a big Morrison's and a load of smaller shops like JD Sports and Costa Coffee and things like that. Go outside the plane, see if we can see the castle. I think I can see it. Yes, there it is. Well, that took a lot more finding than it should have done. Yeah, there's the cathedral just here, and there's Norwich Castle. Here's the central hall where a few years ago when Norwich won the league, this is where all the players come out on the balcony and bring the cup out to show all the fans. Okay, our next stop is Norwich Airport. So it's an international airport, albeit a very small one. The code is Echo Golf Sierra Hotel, and it was used during World War II by the United States Air Force. Some of the buildings still remain, albeit used for lots of different things, storage and whatever. Only transports about 500,000 passengers a year. There's 9 parking stands for aircraft, and is mainly used by turboprops. Flybe used to be based there. It's hellishly expensive to take a flight from Norwich, so I mean, I've never flown from there. It's easier for us to go to Stansted or Luton, Gatwick, Heathrow, places like that. And Norwich, if you remember Top Gear, where James May built the flying caravan, he actually disrupted the traffic at Norwich by accidentally flying directly over the airfield in his caravan. Although it seemed like that in the Top Gear program, it was actually all pre-planned. We're flying over it now. Yeah, it was all pre-planned with air traffic control, but nevertheless it was still funny. So Norwich used to have 2 runways. They now only have 1. The second runway was closed to stop traffic overflying the built-up area of the city. It's now just used as a parking ramp and a taxiway. This is the new northern bypass at Norwich, and all around Norwich Airport is old aircraft that are parked up that you can see from the road. I think they've got a Vulcan parked there somewhere. The old Avro Vulcan that was recently retired. We'll swing round here and set ourselves up for a 27 approach. just looking on my foreflight to see what that airfield is ahead of us, but it's... oh, it's RAF Coltshaw. It's now a disused airbase. I've flown a few times from there with my model aircraft when I used to do it. I think it's being sold off for housing now, which is a shame. Again, you can see the terrain spikes there that need to be fixed. Start bringing the speed back. See the airport straight ahead of us now with the beacon flashing. I was then about to line up on one of the closed runways then. We want 27, didn't we? Drifting majorly sideways with the wind at the moment. Maybe the 70 wind or whatever she said is right. Just bleed a little bit more speed off, getting the white arc on the speed, and drop the first stage of flaps. Alright, this wind is going to be interesting. Too high. Okay, dropping the second stage of flaps now. Bringing the power back to lose some height. We came in a bit high, but I think we're okay. Wind swap coming into view there, showing a fairly decent crosswind. Flaring and pulling the power back. Just holding. Left rudder. There we go, down safely. Bit of brake. And we'll take this exit here. And you can see ahead something else that Sobo need to sort out, and that's ground vehicles on the taxiway. Just where you expect to find a coach. So beep beep. Oh, traffic jam. Oh, got a tug, fire, bloody hell. Yeah, Sobo, you definitely need to sort that out. Okay, strobe lights, landing lights off. And another little issue here of a taxiway light right in the middle of the taxiway. This will give you the idea of the sort of jets. It's mainly turboprops you see coming to Norwich, but the odd few business jets and stuff coming here. Nothing much bigger than that. We're going to turn right here and taxi up to the general aviation parking. I mean, I normally fly in VR, but I know that from watching other people's videos that generally VR is not a very good experience for people watching on YouTube because it's so shaky. I mean, you don't see that in the headset when you're actually flying in VR, but when the video is converted from 3D to 2D for YouTube viewing, it tends to be a bit shaky and horrible. Plus the fact it's nice to have a break from flying in VR. It does get a bit uncomfortable after a little while. I think we'll just pull in here next to this caravan up here. Yeah, we'll put in here. And spin around. Do well. Right, parking brake on. Avionics off. Pull the mixture back. Oh, forgot that comes up when you stop the engine now. Lights off, battery off. And there we go. I hope you enjoyed my little tour of my region. Oh, I didn't put the flaps up. Oh well. Yeah, if you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments. If you didn't enjoy it, again, let me know. I'm always I always like feedback and try and do everything I can to make the viewing as good as possible. If there's some place you want me to go, let me know. I would like to make it a regular series. It'd be good to have a little extra part to my channel apart from the building, because I just can't get enough videos out that I want to from purely building. So I'd like to do a flying side, and of course once the build is complete of the sim, then I'm going to be doing some flying videos of the sim flying anyway. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you like it, leave a comment, thumbs up, subscribe, share, all the good stuff. Take care, see you soon.